Hey, what's up guys, Rep here. So today we have another round of VTuber related news to go over, and no, unlike the past couple of videos from this week, it does not involve Niji Sanji. That agency's been having a very rough week, whether it's the graduation of Mika or the ongoing situation with Selene, but today we're talking about VShojo. Now, some people's trending tabs looked like this last night, and it has a wild set of phrases on there, but it tells me it's a canon event, ladies and gentlemen. But in all seriousness, late last night, VShojo announced that Nazana will be graduating. Now let's read the official message here from the VShojo account. It says, "Dear community members, we wish to inform you that we are mutually concluding our contractual arrangement with Amemiya Nazuna on December 31st of 2023. Nazana will maintain ownership of her intellectual properties and assets as she continues her creative endeavors. We appreciate the support you have provided to Nazana and hope that it continues as she begins the next leg of her journey." Now, this got a lot of people talking because this was a very sudden announcement, right? Made only a few days before her graduation on the 31st. However, the fact that this was sudden does not make it surprising. Not a lot of people are very surprised by this graduation announcement because Nazana has been pretty inactive over the past couple of months. If you look at her account, it has been a very telling story of where her interests might lie, and that interest is definitely directed towards an independent career on her other account, Mikeneko. Now, we're going to look at the roughly year and a half that she has spent with VShojo because I think it's a very interesting story, and it definitely explains why this graduation announcement is not surprising. So we're going to start off with a little lore here. I'm going to pull back the magician's curtain and reveal one of the most deeply held secrets in the VTubing scene. The person responsible for VShojo's Nazana is the same person who was responsible for Hololive's Rushia. I know, that's shocking news. Now, a reminder on that story, which was about 2 years ago, and it feels like it was just yesterday, all it took was this one Discord DM notification to unveil a crazy series of events. This was a message from a male Japanese singer, which caused a lot of her unicorns and most parasocial viewers who expect a girlfriend experience to basically revolt. Okay, they started destroying and selling their Rushia merchandise. They started canceling their channel memberships and so on and so forth. And in a desperate attempt to save her reputation among those most loyal fans, Nazana went to an equivalent of a Japanese Keemstar YouTube channel that does drama sort of stuff. And in the process of trying to clear her name, she shared information with that YouTuber that violated her non-disclosure agreements with Hololive. Now, it wasn't surprising that shortly after that, she was terminated from that agency. And looking back in hindsight, it was a very clear-cut decision. You can't do that to try to save your name. But yes, after that happened, there was a lot of speculation as to where she was going to head next. Well, we got that answer pretty quickly. At Anime Expo of 2022, there was a joint announcement with two new VTubers coming to VShojo. One was Keisan, and the other was this character, Nazana. Now, that connection between Keisan and Nazana will actually be addressed by Keisan in a tweet that she made today. We'll look at that later in the video. But the second that Nazana opened her mouth and started speaking, everyone knew that that was Rushia on a new VTuber model. And one thing that has remained consistent, whether it's before her career with Hololive or after her career with Hololive and throughout her career with VShojo, this account has remained stable. This is essentially her personal account. It is Mikeneko. This account has been around for a long time before any agencies she ever joined. And really, if you want a real representation of where her interests lie, it tends to be represented on this channel. The more active she is here, the more likely she is leaning towards an independent career. Now, she's done a lot of things over the past couple months while still working with VShojo on this Mikeneko account that are interesting, okay? I haven't remembered the last time that someone made an entire VTuber new model debut on their personal account while still working with a major agency, and that's what she did about 6 months ago on her Mikeneko account. She also announced in July of this year that she was joining a Japanese agency named VShojo, which is basically a company that works with VTubers and other Japanese content creators to boost their music career. And that's something that she has been focusing on her Mikeneko account. She has at least 2 music videos that she released after joining that agency that are reflective of this new interest. And honestly, if you look at her Mikeneko account on YouTube, it's very active. In particular, it's been extremely active in the past couple of weeks. You can see here from these 8 streams here, these are all from the past 3 weeks. So she's obviously quite active on this personal account. Now compare that to her VShojo Nazana account, where we have a stream that she did for Christmas 5 days ago, but the most previous stream before that was 4 months ago. And if you look at this selection of 6 streams here, these are her most recent streams from the past 6 months on her Nazana account. It shows that obviously she is dwindling her interest on the Nazana account and increasing her activity on her personal account. And it's not surprising that we reached this graduation decision, okay? It's obvious that her interest lies much more in an independent career than it did with VShojo. Now, before we look at a couple of other things, there's a few things to note about this graduation announcement. As with most people who graduate from VShojo, she is allowed to keep her intellectual properties and assets from the Nazana account. Now that's interesting because this whole thing really is about wanting to move on to an independent career with her Mikeneko account, which obviously has a different VTuber model. And it's interesting that she would take that. I don't blame her. If you have the opportunity to take those assets with you, you should. I mean, that's the creative freedom that VShojo hypes itself up about. And if you have the opportunity, you should take it. But it will be interesting to see if she actually uses that VTuber model, maybe as like a special event or like an additional character in her arsenal or something. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. But another thing that people are talking about is, well, did the inactivity result in her graduation? I don't think so. I think it was more of a symptom of her wanting to move on to something else. I mean, there's other members of VShojo that are incredibly silent when it comes to their activity levels. You have, for example, SidSnap has a model with VShojo and an account there. She rarely streams. A lot of people probably don't even know she exists in that agency unless you're following this stuff a little more closely. So it definitely wasn't her inactivity that led to this. I think it was just a change in her interest and wanting to move on to something else. And her time at VShojo was pretty short, but it wasn't something that really surprised anyone when she moved on from it. And we saw some of her friends and former members of VShojo reacting to this news. You have Henya here saying, "Although I feel lonely, I'm looking forward to seeing Nazana-chan's further activities in the future. I will continue to support you a lot." Now, curiously, we also got a quote on the message from Keisan this morning. It says, "Nazana-chan is still Nazana-chan, so there is no problem. By the way, it's often misunderstood, so I'd like to make it clear that I wasn't the one who invited Nazana to VShojo. Really, I don't understand why some people think that way. It really just happened to be the timing of each individual decision. I've never invited anyone. If you have a misunderstanding, please don't do it." And that's something that a lot of people assumed when they joined VShojo together. It seemed like there was some sort of a package deal, and a lot of people were convinced that it was Keisan who brought Nazana in, and I guess Keisan has made it very clear today that she did not do that. She was not the one responsible for bringing in Nazana to VShojo, so we'll take her word for that. But of course, some people are not going to accept the truth no matter what. And I don't really know if it's that big of a deal in the first place, but she came out and clarified that today because a lot of people were talking about their connection and how they were brought into the agency together. And also, does that mean that Keisan's going to leave? Well, she made that message very clear with that tweet earlier today. And also, for those concerned about, how is she moving on? I think Mikeneko is moving on pretty quickly. In fact, she made this tweet only a few hours after the graduation announcement. In fact, this was her first action on social media since the announcement, and it was on her personal account. In fact, it wasn't until this morning that she made an actual address on her Nazana account. It says, "Thank you for always supporting me, and I apologize for surprising you. After many discussions with everyone at VShojo, I've decided to graduate. Thank you very much to all the viewers and staff for your help. It was fun. See you soon." And then she had this stream shortly after. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. I don't know if there's going to be any more streams on her account. There's only roughly 2 days left till the official graduation date. But that's where we're at. The story of Nazana and the continuing story of Mikeneko. Very interesting stuff to look at. She is wildly successful and always has a lot of attention anywhere she goes. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does with that Nazana IP and what she does with her independent career moving forward. But that's the story for today. Please share all of your thoughts about it in the comments section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.